Today is Tuesday, February 21. I'm Pastor Anthony, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Today our text is actually coming from Joshua chapter 2. A bit of a change of plan. This is a return of sorts to an old devotion from February 23, 2021. I had intended to write something new for today, but find myself sick instead. This devotion remains a good one to be reminded of, though, and from a bit later on in the same run of history that we're covering now in Deuteronomy. So, may you find hope in God as you listen in.
Today our text comes from Joshua 2. The Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth below. Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family, because I have shown kindness to you. Give me a sure sign that you will spare the lives of my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all who belong to them, and that you will save us from death. Our lives for your lives, the men answered her. Agreed, she replied. Let it be as you say. So she sent them away, and they departed, and she tied the scarlet cord in the window. Joshua chapter 2, starting about halfway through verse 11 through halfway through verse 14, and including verse 21. Rahab the prostitute, hanging by a thread at the approach of the army of Israel, who intended to raze Jericho to the ground. Rahab clearly didn't hold a high position in her ancient society. She was likely assumed to be a woman of dubious character. She quite likely was a victim of circumstances out of her control that placed her in this profession. Maybe it was economic hardship, no husband to guard her rights. So, a prostitute. And yet Rahab the prostitute gives a full and sincere confession of faith in the God of Israel, nearly as strong a confession as anyone else in the book of Joshua, as she speaks to the sovereignty and power of the Lord who will give this new land to his people. She trusted this Lord that she had only ever heard about, and she entrusted herself to his people. Give me a sure sign that you will save us from death, she says. And the sign they give her is a sign that oddly reverberates with the crimson blood of the lamb smeared over the entryways of the Israelites on the night of Passover. In her window she is to tie a scarlet cord and huddle inside behind locked doors with her whole family as the Israelites did on the night of their salvation. But this cord signifies more. This story is the second instance of this Hebrew word for hope. Where is that word in this story? The scarlet cord. There are actually three words here in the Hebrew. One of them means thread, one of them means scarlet, and the last of them has a root which means to be tense or rigid, or by extension, to be expectant. That last one is our word for hope, and is indeed translated as hope elsewhere in the Bible. Rahab the prostitute, hanging by a scarlet thread of hope in the Lord, even as the walls were quite literally about to collapse around her, putting an end to life as she'd known it. But that scarlet thread of hope playing gently in the wind outside her window was also the promise that a new life was coming. So even when a thread is all you seem to be holding on by, it's enough. Hope in God never comes with much in this life that we can lay our hands on, just a thin wisp of scarlet hope. But as these members of Jesus' own genealogy, Rahab, Jacob, and Ruth, would discover, God is faithful. The Lord delivers. And a hope in him, threadbare as it may be, is never misplaced. As you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you, wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors.